Man, instantly it smells like money. Well, what's up everyone? Mike here, Rusty Garage in Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day today. So today we're going to get this little hooch that the bulls have been staying in. We're going to get it cleaned out. Now this hooch I have a lot of issues with getting cleaned because all of my gate bows, you can see how tall they are. Tiny won't fit in here. I need to raise all the gate bows up, but this needs cleaned out. Let me show you it. And you can see the ground's sloped here, but the cows, calves, bulls, all of them have been in here enough. You can see where they've worked the ground down over here. You can see that board over there. So I just need to cut a little bit out of this just to get some of that manure out. I'm probably going to go dump it out there by the hay because I still got to clean all that up out there. But when I built this corral, I really wasn't thinking about bringing equipment in on this side where we have the calves separated. And yeah, that was a failure on my part, but you can see me standing up. All these are 6 foot tall. That's where I built everything, just because I wanted to try to make sure the cows weren't going to jump over it. But let me show you Tiny real quick. Okay, so here's Tiny. You can fold the ROPS down, but even with the ROPS down, you can see how much taller this is compared to my head. So it still won't clear right now until we get the gate bows moved up. But we have a new piece of equipment. It's going to be a perfect job for tight quarters, lower areas. So we're going to use the Baumalight WRL 58G to get all this cleaned up. So that machine should work perfect for this. I think we'll just come in here, scoop a little bit of this out, and then drive around the corral over through here out to where we feed with the hay. And I'll probably just go dump it over on the far side for now, just to get it out of the way. I've still got to clean all of this up in here. Camera's probably not going to do it justice, but you can see kind of where this ring-ish of hay is. That's about 1 foot thick right through there, maybe a little more. We may, once we get this cleaned out over here, we may bring the Baumalight out here and see how that does, getting into some of that. But once you break down through the crust, if you will, on this, it gets extremely soft and slimy under there. So we'll probably try that towards the end, get all this stuff cleaned up. Then we, yeah, I normally bring the bulldozer in here and just shove it all out in the pasture. We do use this for compost. I'll shove it out in a pile. It can sit for a year or two. I'll keep turning it over every once in a while, but this stuff ends up getting put in the garden, and it does a pretty good job in the garden for fertilizer. I've been saving this cleanup job out here because I've got another product coming here pretty soon for Tiny that should make that job a whole lot easier. Okay, well, we're gonna get set up. I'm gonna throw you guys probably back in here and let's start getting the stuff cleaned up. But a lot of the stuff in here is dry. We have gotten a lot of rain here recently, so that's what's kind of kept me from getting in here and getting it cleaned out so far. But most of this should be fairly dry right now. So I think we'll just come in, start cutting this down some. All right, everyone, that's that. That actually probably would have been a pretty good load for the dump trailer, and probably would have been a little quicker having the dump trailer right there in the driveway and just scooping, turning around and dumping. But quite a bit in there. You know, we got basically old manure and some dirt mixed in on this. I did get down to the sand layer on quite a bit, so I did cut out some of the topsoil, which that's fine. Well, let's check it out and see what it looks like. Okay, that is a lot better looking. You can see that's all sand. We get up in here in the shade, that light stuff, that's the sand. But not too bad, it did okay. I think I'm gonna come in, this edge here is still soft. You can see all those tracks, you can tell there's still moisture in that. I'll let y'all decide what kind of moisture that is. But I think I'm gonna come in here and try to cut just a little bit more off of this. I kept spinning. Whenever I'd spin, I'd start hitting that board over there. So I really want to get that stuff off the board. That was kind of the main deal. But you can tell we cut down quite a bit in here. So, okay, let me try to peel that little bit off of there, and we'll call this done. That's not bad. That's a lot better than it was. Yeah, I think we're gonna call this good for now and move out here to the hay. I'm still curious to see how well that works. Having the bucket probably isn't the best way to do this. They do have manure forks for these machines, and manure forks with grapple, that would probably be the best bet for that. But I don't know, I'm curious. I think once we get broke through, I think it's going to spin because it's going to be pretty slick under there. But let's try it out and see. Man, instantly it smells like money. So just so y'all don't think I'm kidding you, that is that first scoop, and you can see all that moisture down here below, and I really wish you guys could smell what I'm smelling right now. But that actually did pretty decent, so I'm gonna work on this just a little bit and get part of this edge cleaned up, because we're gonna have to get this hay ring pulled out of here to really get all of it out of here. Told you that stuff was slick. All right, everyone. Well, that was a little chore we need to get done. That's quite a bit of compost that we're going to have for our compost pile over here. A lot of hay, stuff like that. But we're still not done because we got quite a bit more still here to go. But it did do a decent job. You guys seen it spun, which I knew it was going to, just because I know what that stuff's like once you kind of get through there. It gets extremely soft and slick. But we managed to get under there all cleaned out. A little bit over here. You guys can see this pile. Decent little pile that machine just dug out all that. So it did good. All that stuff under the lean-to would have been more shovel work, if anything, shovel and wheelbarrow, just because like you've seen, tiny, I don't have a machine small enough to get up in there until now. So that helped out a ton. Machine worked great. I'm glad that job's done. The cows, I'm gonna let the bull in here in a little bit, and he's either going to go where we dug and waller in the fresh, cool dirt, or he's going to headbutt this pile for a while and scatter a bunch of this around. But it'll still be there for the most part. We'll get this picked up and moved outside of the corral here soon. Same with all this stuff back here, because it needs out of here. But anyways, everyone, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking time to watch the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.